Okay, so to get started, we're using our Fun Flowers die, and I've just placed a couple on here so that you could see how they were cut out. So I just did a bunch. I did some black, I did some newsprint, and I did some cherry cobbler. Next, I'm just going to take a spritz bottle with water in it, and I'm going to put my cardstock on paper towels, and I'm just going to spritz the front and back of each piece. Now, I'm not going to do the newsprint because it's more of a thin paper, like a designer series paper, and I don't want to ruin it. It's pretty thin, so I'm just going to do these pieces just to get them a little more receptive to being handled. And there are a lot of different ways that you can do this, but this is a simple way. So next I'm just going to take them and I'm just going to crunch them up. And the more you smush them, the better it is. So I pinch the bottom of it and then just smush them toward the middle. And it's the same thing for all of them. Now for the newsprint, I'm going to do the same thing to the newsprint, but I'm not going to wet it. I'm just going to squeeze it and smush it. And the more smushed they are, the better. So you can just roll it up in a little ball. And then just do all of them, and you can layer them as you like. Now normally I like to let these dry overnight, but I just hit them with my heat gun a little bit so that I can play with them. I'm going to uncrinkle them and see which ones I want to layer on top of each. Now you can put as few or as many layers on your flowers as you like. I would suggest at least 3, preferably 4. Okay, so we're going to layer these. I've chosen the black flower, the same newsprint flower, and then the red, and then the smaller newsprint. And what I'm going to do is just take my mat and my paper piercer, and I'm going to pierce a hole in the center. And my favorite brads for these flowers are the antique brads. I don't know why, I just think that they look great in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hold that together and then just put the brad right there in the center. And you have to be careful because you've broken down the fibers in these papers. Mine are a little wet, so they're a little fragile once they get wet. So just be careful that you don't tear the flower. Because now what I want to do is I'm going to take them and I'm going to scrunch them again toward the center. Now a good trick for keeping this stiffer is to take your shimmer sprays. So the shimmer spray is going to make it a little stiffer. So I'm going to take my shimmer spray and I'm just going to give it a few good sprays. Okay, so this flower has 4 layers, and that's pretty cute. So now let's see what it looks like if we put more layers. So I'm going to take the large newsprint flower. I'm going to layer the same flower in red. I'm going to layer another newsprint, the same flower in black, then newsprint, then red. So we got really crazy here with these flowers. There's millions of them. So I'm just going to put my paper piercer. And just be careful when you do this that you don't stab yourself. But I went through all of those layers. Now because it's so huge, I don't want to put in one of these large antique brads. So I'm just going to get a rhinestone brad. Once again, I'm going to take the flower and I'm going to scrunch it all up to the middle. And it's the same thing with every layer. You literally just pick it up and just push in. Don't pull up because they're still a little damp and you will tear the flower. It's a good idea when you do this to just do 1,000,000 of them and then stick them in a drawer. I have a little box I call my treasure box, and sometimes when you want to do a card, you just go into that box and you take your little leftover pieces and you can make something pretty spectacular. So I'm going to smush this all together, and then I'm going to start to pry it apart to get the shape of the flower that I want. And you can leave it as closed or as open as you like. And you can leave it like this, or again you can take your shimmer spray, and I love to do the shimmer spray because not only does it give it a shimmer, but it also gives it a little bit more structure. This is the one with 4 and this is the one with 6, so 2 completely different looks. Thanks for stopping by my blog today. If you have any questions for me, I'm Kathy at StampsAndScrapbooks.com.